insiders, and man, are we excited to be here today.
It's a party, baby!
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday night. Man, the week went by so quickly, but we're happy that you can all be here tonight to join us for our episode of our weekly wrestling wrap-up. These are always fun to do, and we don't get a chance to do them enough, but we're glad we can this week. No pay-per-views going on, unlike already next week. But welcome in. We hope you're all doing well. Good to see all of you out there. And Jeff, another crazy week of a lot of things going on in the world of wrestling, man.
Yeah, it seems like it's always a busy week. Lots going on as always. So yeah, it makes shows like this easy to do because there's just so much going on.
Yeah, just so much news. I mean, WWE, we're in WrestleMania season. We've got a big pay-per-view coming up for AEW. We've got pay-per-view getting ready for NXT. We've got a pay-per-view this Saturday for Impact Wrestling when it seems like we just had one. A lot of stuff going on in the world of wrestling. Things going on like behind the scenes. And now that you're getting closer to Mania, you're going to get a lot of rumors. You're going to get a lot of stuff like that. So be careful what you see. Be careful what you're looking at out there because you never know what could be a spoiler and what could not be. So just be careful because you're getting close now. And a lot of times you can end up getting spoiled and you may not want to. So, all right, we're going to welcome some people in quickly here and then we will get into it. Now, of course, tomorrow is Abby, so make sure you join Jeff and G.O.D for that at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. I know she's got some new things planned, so check that out tomorrow. And then we'll be back here for Impact, which will be a go-home show this coming Thursday night at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, again, you won't want to miss that because their go-home shows are can't miss with all those great matches that they have coming up for Sacrifice as well. You don't want to miss that show. And then after that, after the Impact will be saved for a prediction show. So we will have our predictions for Sacrifice on that show afterwards. So 10:15 to 10:45-ish, we'll have our picks for Sacrifice. And then, of course, next Saturday is Sacrifice. So join us for the week of Impact Wrestling. Busy week for Impact. So make sure you join us for that. We have James Grant. Hi, James. Derek, what's up with you? How are you? Big Dan is here. What's up, Big Dan? Hey, Dana. You think Brock's going to win the winner-take-all match? That's a different take on it. Okay. Wes is here. Chad is here. Nick is here several times. Hey, Nick. Nick went a little crazy in the chat. Jason Peace is here. Hey, Jason. Sean Rousset, how are you? We have Cheese Whiz is here. Hello to you. We have Stanley Krapinski. Hello. How are you? Will the AEW pay-per-view be in theaters? I don't know. They've been doing that. I haven't heard anything yet if it is or not. But they have done that before. Bonus Baby is here. Next weekend's Impact, Sacrifice, and AEW Revolution is going to be miles better than WrestleMania's 2 nights. Well, hey, to each their own, man. You enjoy what you want to enjoy. I think Impact's going to be great. Jeff and I love the Impact pay-per-view, so yeah, why not? All right, so welcome to you all. Thanks for coming out and joining us. Jeff, I had a really quick impromptu kind of a topic, and I figured we just started out, and I'll get your thoughts on this. But we heard the last day or so, and this came around after SmackDown. Hey, Sean Aker. Vince and Mr. McAfee apparently are going to have something going on here. Nobody really knows what it is. You're going to probably find out more because he's going to be on Pat's show, which is really interesting. So, and as far as and I call him Meltzy, Mr. Meltzy had to say was that as far as it goes right now, they're booked in a match for WrestleMania. That's what Meltzy's saying. Now, how accurate that is, I don't know. I mean, Vince is kind of on the old side, so I don't know if Vince would be wrestling anymore. But very interesting news, Jeff. I don't know what to make of it. Someone was saying that maybe it won't be Vince, but it'll be a stand-in for him. Somebody else will wrestle for him. Now, we probably know who that would be at that point.
Yes.
But what do you think of all this? That's kind of weird news, huh?
I think it's gonna be interesting to see. This might be where Shane was slated to be in. This
Okay.
might be where his spot was, but I think it's possible we'll get Austin Theory in that. We might get a war of words on Thursday. They'll cook up something.
Yeah.
And then, we'll get Austin Theory in there. But I think this is where Shane McMahon was supposed to be. I
That,
doubt that Vince is going to ever step foot in a ring and do any of that
yeah.
stuff again. I mean, even though now we saw him a couple years ago
We
and
did.
he did the fall off the balcony that he was trying to get Gronk to do.
That's right.
But I think he's beyond his wrestling time in the ring. So
Yeah, you're probably right, and that's a good call with the Shane thing because Shane was supposed to be there. So if Shane was going to be there, Austin Theory would have been the prime candidate for him to be there with. So yeah, you're probably right. That's probably a great call. It probably is going to be Pat and Austin Theory. So interesting, interesting. I mean, we've seen Pat in the ring before. He held his own. He was
yeah.
in a War Games match. So and yeah, he more than held his own in there. So that'd be kind of cool. Something different. And that's why I said you're going to start seeing all these things coming up now, and who is going to show up at WrestleMania, which they're really trying to get this thing to be big. We already know what the main events and stuff are as well. So I've heard Austin Theory is going to be Vince's proxy. Yeah, like Jeff said, it would make 100% sense. Hey, TNA wrestling movement. I don't think Vince is wrestling. Yeah, he'll be someone's hype man. Yeah, no, and Jeff made a good point with that too. He's probably done. He's probably seen his last days of wrestling. It's very true. Has to be a stand-in. Build will be good, hopefully, but it has to be Austin Theory versus Pat or a person for Pat. Maybe they have an agreement and they think they know who the future is. Austin Theory will be what Roman was in 2015, eventually become what Roman is now. Well, that's a bold statement. I don't know if they'll become that big. We'll see. Maybe. We'll see. Is he the next in line? Never know. All right, Jeff, let's get into what we've got on the agenda here. So that was some breaking news, but now we'll get to our news of the week. So what have we got up first?
So first, big surprise coming out of WWE. Cesaro's contract expired, so that means he is a free agent at the moment, Joe.
Yeah, this was kind of, if you're a fan of Cesaro, it was probably good news for you because, he really never, he got that little push last year and, kind of looked like he might get in the title picture a little bit and stuff. But then it was just right back down again. And look, hey, this dude is just a great wrestler, a professional guy. You never really heard him bad mouthing anyone or say anything bad about people, and probably why he was just let go with no clause, no 90-day clause. When you're good to the company and you don't bad mouth them or you don't say anything bad to anyone, and you just kind of go and do your job, they're more apt to say, well, hey, we can't get an agreement here on a contract, which apparently was what it was. Maybe Cesaro wanted a little more money, thought he was worth a little more, and maybe the WWE didn't want to pay it, which is fine. And, so, he was let go, but it was a surprise. It kind of came out of left field. We had seen him on some recent shows. Nothing really exciting per se, but it came out of left field. But now, whenever this happens, you kind of start to think, well, what's next? And of course, they came out of the woodwork and where everybody's saying, he's all elite. He's all elite. And that's going to be a rally cry. All elite. All elite. Like a bird, like a really annoying bird. All elite. Listen, we got to stop with the all elite stuff. I get it. Hey, listen, you be a fan of whoever you want. If you want to see him in AEW, cool. But they can't get everyone. They just can't. They can't sign everybody, and they just brought in Buddy Murphy, and they apparently there's plans for more people coming in very soon, maybe someone formerly from NXT. So they can't sign everyone. And look, I as an Impact fan, I'd love to see him in Impact Wrestling. Absolutely love to see him in Impact Wrestling. I'm already dreaming up fantasy matchups for him going there. But in either case, the man put in his dues. He did what he was told, and he's a professional, and he still has good years left in him. And I think wherever he chooses to go. I was even talking to Jeff about this and saying, hey, what about Control the Narrative? Could fit in there too, like a place like that. So I just want to see him happy, Jeff, and hopefully somebody else sees it and sees the talent and picks him up.
I think that most in the wrestling industry regard him as one of the best out there.
Yeah.
From a ring standpoint and from a professionalism standpoint. I just want to see him. I just want to see him do well wherever he chooses to go.
Yep.
Obviously, you're going to get the people that say he's going to AEW because why not? Everybody else is.
Yep.
And I don't say that negatively, so I have to throw that out there because if not, you know how it goes. But I don't say that negatively. But if he wants to end up there, cool, that's fine. I'm a homer, so I want to see him in Impact.
Yeah.
I just do. Wherever he wants to go, though, I want to see him do well. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's too bad that they couldn't work it out with WWE, but also, he deserved a lot more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. He should have had a title. And no question about it. He's one of those guys who, and I heard a discussion once. It was probably on Busted Open because I listened to it so much. But I heard a discussion, and I think might have been Bully Ray or it might have been Mark Henry was saying that, maybe they had qualms about giving it to him, thinking that because in the past, I guess, I don't really remember this that well because my memory isn't what it was. But in the past, they would say he had a little bit of trouble with promos because of the language barrier. Like he didn't speak English really, really well at one point when he was when he came in, and maybe they thought, well, he wouldn't be in that respect a good representative maybe for the title because of that. I'm not sure. Whatever it was, something didn't click, and they just didn't have anything for him, and he would have stayed. And then of course this came up right after the Kevin Owens and oh my gosh, Sami Zayn signings. So I guess maybe he looked at what they got, or maybe knew, because everybody talks. And maybe he, was asked for similar money, and WWE didn't have the interest in giving that to him. So, yeah, look, breaking up is hard to do. No matter what it is, it's a shame when you're a WWE fan. If you're a Cesaro fan and you wanted to see him back, I would have loved to see him back with Sheamus for one more run. We talked about that and laughed about that on our show a few times, seeing them back together as a tag team because they were awesome together. But that obviously didn't happen as well. So, but anyway, like Jeff said, just hope he's happy wherever he ends up. Who knows? Maybe he is done. Maybe he doesn't want to do wrestling anymore. We'll see. But wherever he goes, we wish him the best. And Jeff and I will be rooting for him to be an Impact, of course, because, we're Impact homers. They know that. Everybody calls us that. But yes. Hey, Sean, how are you? Oh, snap. I would have gotten here sooner. Cesaro was robbed. New Japan would be good too, Heather. Why not? I'm fine with that. All right. What's up next, Jeff?
So we go from that to MJF had a very emotional promo on Dynamite.
This guy is really good at what he does. He's a great heel, probably one of the best that's out there, and he really does well with promos. I happened to turn this on right when he was doing this, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, the cool thing about it is when you see a wrestler do a promo and you can't tell whether they're being truthful or whether they're not. Now, to fit the story, obviously it was not, because he's trying to sucker, yes, like Heather's saying, he's trying to sucker CM Punk in. So that would definitely fit the story. But he legit had tears. Like, he legit had tears in his eyes. Listen, you've got to be pretty good at your job to do that. Actors can do that on cue. In most cases, they can cry. They can get themselves emotional and make themselves cry. That's not easy. I don't know if you guys have ever just tried to do that. It is not easy to do. You know, they think of something sad and it gets them all, you know, upset and everything. And then, but I'll tell you, it was a really good promo. And, you know, I'm sure. And then Punk, of course, Punk comes down to the ring, and Punk is looking at him saying, "Is this true? Is this true?" And he's asking him, you know, so obviously Punk is played into it, but, you know, is he suckering him in? More than likely. I mean, that's who he is. So more than likely he is, but it was a fantastic promo and he killed it. He really did a great job. Thing about MJF, like him or hate him, he's a young guy, and you can tell that he studied his classic wrestling, because this guy is probably at his age, one of the best heels in the business, and he is going to be sought after when his contract's up. I can tell you right now, there will be bidders. Don't, you know, I know he likes it at AEW, and that's cool, but someone is going to have to break the bank for this dude when his contract's up. Someone's going to have to break the bank for him. Now, you think Tony would do it, but don't be surprised if some other people sneak some bids in there, but he's just good at what he does, and a very young guy, and he's going to be around for a while, barring any injuries. So great promo, really, really great promo by MJF, Jeff.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it that night, but I went back and saw it, and you know, I just appreciate someone being able to draw back to what it felt like way back in the day, when heels cut promos, when people cut promos in general.
Yeah.
This is one of the better promos I've heard in quite some time. And it just goes to show how this guy is. I mean, he's a young dude, and he's only going to get better.
Yep.
And that's scary because he's so good now. So yeah, I'm just, wow. I was blown away by it. But yeah, he's suckering CM Punk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna get him. he's gonna pull the wool over. And
You've already seen it.
yeah, it's gonna
CM
happen.
Punk came right down on cue and played into it and walked
Yeah.
in and be like, "Are you serious? Like, are you?" Like, he was all like stunned and taken aback by it. So, yeah, man. And the other cool thing about this dude is he lives his gimmick. And
Yeah.
that's another thing you don't see much anymore. You know, we heard about that from Nikita Koloff that we talked to very early on. Talking about how they lived their promos. The Undertaker lived his character outside of the ring. That's who he was. And this guy does it too. And people don't like it because sometimes little kids go up to him for autographs and he's a prick. He acts like a real jerk. And that's what he's doing. And he lives his gimmick on social media. So there's no who is really MJF. You don't know because you don't see it. So the mystery is there. He keeps that going. And yeah, it was a really, really fantastic promo. AEW had a few of them on Wednesday night. And listen, anybody who's going to do that and do it well, I'm in. Bring it back. Because like Jeff was saying earlier, like, he's a fan of going back and seeing promos. I am too, because that was such a huge part of professional wrestling back in the 80s and in the 90s. Half the shows sometimes were promos. You know, you had a couple of matches here and there. Sometimes in an hour-long show on a Saturday morning, you'd have 3 matches, and the rest were just all promos. And some of these promos, my God, Macho Man Randy Savage would cut like a 7-8 minute promo. Hulk Hogan would come out and cut a huge, really long promo. These guys would talk and talk, but you never got sick of it. In fact, I, growing up, liked the promos sometimes more than the matches that they were showing. So,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, give me more. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. MJF was built up to be an entertaining star. As a child, he was given acting lessons, music, and dancing. Well, he's putting them to use. A real athlete. Makes sense why he's so good. Hey, Supersonic X. Hey, Joe and Jeff. How are you doing this evening? We're doing well. And MJ cut a great promo. Bring back those promos that are emotional, awesome, not 20-minute promos. The subtlety of Punk keeping his fist clenched, even though he was showing concern, was amazing, says Bonus Baby. Yeah, Punk came down right on cue and kind of just played right into it. So, yeah, great job to both of them. The care he takes in protecting his character is almost Undertaker-like. Yeah, absolutely, Sean Aker. Yep. Like, in as far as he doesn't break, that promo did a lot to further the development as a major star. Edge had an incredible promo on Raw. Good point. Yeah, we'll see the culmination of that tomorrow night. We'll see where that's headed. All right, Jeff, what's up next?
Well, you talked about more promos on the show. This was another interesting war of words.
It really was, because Eddie Kingston, this was a weird one when I first saw it start up, because Jericho is changing his character here, and he's more, when he was with the group, they were more of a face group. Jericho's going back here and turning heel. And I'm okay with that, because Jericho's better at that anyway. Jericho's always been a good heel, more so than a face, I think. And of course, Eddie Kingston is, playing the face here. But the two of them, really, and I mean, Jericho's a master of promos, always been really good at them, and there's no doubt here. But Eddie Kingston, man, this dude can talk, and he did not, the expressions on his face when Jericho was kind of slamming him a little bit, saying, you're never going to be the guy. You're never going to be, and then him coming just looking around and chomping at the bit to get his turn to talk. And then finally doing so and demanding a match and saying, just give me a match. Just give me a match. And then Jericho's like, if you beat me, you go to that next level, but you're never going to beat me. It was again, really good, really, really good promo. Jericho, of course, had the security that you can see on the picture there behind him. So there was going to be no shenanigans. He wasn't going to beat him up because the security was there. Jericho had himself protected. And obviously, looking at it from a wrestling standpoint, that this is Chris Jericho is going to put over Eddie Kingston. So that's the culmination of this. That's what you're going to get, is Chris Jericho putting over Eddie Kingston and getting him, to that next level. But this should be a great match and a war of words. And I'm sure we'll get a little bit more before the pay-per-view between these two guys. I like Kingston. I do. The character he plays, kind of that I scratched and crawled for everything I got. And he almost seems like a weird personality to be in AEW, because he's not like other guys there. He's very different and unique, but I like him. I think he's a good character. I love the character he plays, and this ought to be really good. But the promo was awesome, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Kingston has been one of the best on the mic for quite some time. And the whole thing with him and how he is with, scratching and clawing, that's real. Like, he worked for years to try to get to this point, and he's here now. And, a lot that's authentic. And you can tell that when he's cutting a promo, and I mean, it came through this past week, and obviously with Jericho, I mean, there's not a lot more you can say about him. He's just tremendous. So yeah, I mean, these two in a ring with the microphone equals magic every single time, and hopefully the match will deliver. I don't have a reason to think it won't. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more between these two.
I love when he turned to Jericho and said, "Am I going to get the champagne glass match, Jericho, or am I going to?" I thought that was great, because I mean, obviously Jericho did some weird things, and that champagne glass match wasn't one of his best matches.
Was it? What was the line he used? I want the Chris Jericho that Triple H hated, or something like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I really thought MJF would be feuding with Wardlow by now, but I'm so glad it hasn't yet. That's being drawn out because of the CM Punk thing. That's going to probably come to a culmination when that feud with Punk ends. But that's a long play as well. Yeah, long game with that. AEW have great promos, good to great matches. The one thing I wish they did better is builds to debuts or teases with vignettes of people coming in, sort of how they did with Buddy Matthews. Yeah, they kind of just sometimes bring people in and don't really have anything. That's kind of a lost art, though, too, Sean Aker. People don't do that as much anymore. I mean, harken back to the guy we love on the channel is Bray Wyatt. When the Wyatt family started, we got a lot of intro vignettes before we ever saw them in a ring. Them out in that thing that kind of reminded you of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre before they even made their debut. But I don't think people take they kind of don't do that anymore very much. I wish they would too. It's kind of a long play when somebody's coming, you kind of know it. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because we live in an instant gratification generation, and maybe they figure that they're not going to want that anymore. But yeah, I agree. Eddie is the best promo in the biz, bar none. I love Eddie and could watch him talk all day, says Heather. Could Cesaro help Jericho beat Kingston? It would be a hell of a way to kick off a Cesaro-Kingston feud. It would be quite an AEW debut if he goes that route. Yeah, I mean, he's free to sign anywhere, Big Dan. So, why not?
And they have history.
Yeah.
Eddie and Cesaro have history.
There you go.
For sure.
There you go. That'd be awesome then. Good call. Where's Tazzy? No idea. Might be working, Dana. Not sure. Shikara was pretty good. I think the breakup angle takes place at Mania between Riddle and Randy. If anyone didn't know, Edge called out MJF and Punk a few weeks ago in an Edge promo. Veer has been coming to Raw for 4 years now. Yeah, Veer is, that I'll believe that happened. I said, someone said that in a post. I answered and I said, I think it's a work. I don't think Veer exists. I think it's all a work.
You know how you remember the Publishers Clearinghouse?
Yes, the
And
sweepstakes.
they send you the thing and say you won, $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
That's
you
kind
gotta
of
buy this magazine and that magazine, and yeah.
I feel like that's what they're doing to us on Raw with Veer coming.
Yeah.
That we've got to watch like a year and a half's worth of Raw before we get Veer. We got to keep making it through those 3 hours before we get Veer. At some point people are just gonna be like, all right, yeah, we'll believe it when we see it, or they'll forget about it, or just kind of roll their eyes at it, and it'll happen randomly one day.
I'm starting to think Veer is like Santa Claus, that he's a myth, that it just doesn't exist, and they're making this up, and they're trying. I mean, no offense to him, and I'm sure he's a great dude, and he might be a really great wrestler, but this is something you would see them teasing long game, like a big name, like somebody big that's coming in that you kind of maybe already know who this person is, like the Olympian they signed, somebody like that you would think deserves this long of a wait. No offense to the dude, but yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Are they going to spring it on us one Raw and say Veer's? I mean, social media is going to blow up.
Yeah.
Social media will blow up. Veer's here. That's going to be trending. Veer's here. Hashtag. Yeah, it's going to be trending. Guaranteed. Oh man. All right, Jeff. What's next?
So we get a debut. Buddy Matthews joins the House of Black in AEW.
Yeah, this was pretty cool because the history between these two, and it wasn't friendly when they were up in the on the main roster of WWE. These two guys battled almost on a weekly basis, one time after another, and they had some stellar matches. So when he showed up, and you saw the look in the eyes of Malachi Black, who played that really well, because you saw that look in his eye, and it was like stunned to see him. And man, Matthews looks good. He's stacked, man. That dude is built. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Alicia. How are you? But when he got in the ring, of course, he right away turned and he joined Malachi Black. Well, that's going to be a force. Those three men, man, that is going to be an absolute force to deal with on that show. Having Black and Buddy Matthews back together after all this, and if you've seen some of Buddy's promos, he kind of did that whole promo where he was in a prison thing, kind of very similar to what Malachi was doing back then too. So if you go back and watch those, you'll see. But those two together, this faction is getting good. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there thinking, what a place it would be to add a Bray Wyatt into that House of Black as the fourth member. Always seems like in a faction there's four. And we all know what Malachi's feelings are about Bray and how much he wanted to, work with him, wrestle him, blah, blah, blah. We heard that when he was let go. Wouldn't it be interesting if they do decide to bring him in? And I have no way of knowing if Bray even wants to wrestle anymore, so I'm just fantasy booking and speculating. But what a place for him to end up coming in and showing up as part of that House of Black. But this is a dangerous faction, Jeff, with or without anybody else right now.
Yeah, I mean, if they got someone else, especially that caliber, then wow.
Yeah.
If they don't, they're still formidable. I'm happy to see Buddy Matthews. I was curious as to how they were going to bring him in. There were rumblings all around that he was going there, but how would they bring him in? I thought this was perfect. So kudos to them for doing this. This was another one of those where people talked about it for months and months and months and kind of forgot about it for a bit. It's like, okay, when he shows up, he'll show up. And he did, and it was excellent. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Veer is John Cena. Can't see him. I keep forgetting. Whenever I see everybody saying Deuce in the chat, I'm like, who the hell are they talking about? It's Jeff. I don't want Bray in House of Black. He wouldn't be the leader, and he should lead whatever faction he's in. Fair enough. I like how Black and Matthews have capitalized on their history. Buddy was involved in the eye angle with Black and WWE. Yeah, that whole eye thing. The eyes. Remember when WWE is infatuated with eye play? They were Rey Mysterio pop his eye out.
They gave us a prosthetic eye from the Chucky set is what they did. That's exactly what it looked like. They gave us a prosthetic eye that was, and then the reaction from Seth puking all over the place.
Let's pop eyes out. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that. What am I drinking? You can't see it because it's green and it's on my green screen. It's a Sprite bottle. That's why you can't see it, because the bottles are green. So it's weird.
It is the John Cena of soft drink.
It is. Look, you can't see me. Yes, it is. Imagine Decay merging with the House of Black if the Forbidden Door opens. Oh, that would be cool. That would be very cool. Big Daddy Deuce, LOL, says Deanna. Hey, Deanna, how are you? All right, moving on. What's next?
All right, so we go from good news to Lashley being reported as having an injury, needing surgery. Unfortunately, these things happen in wrestling, especially when you're doing the things that these men and women do.
Very true. And if you go back to Elimination Chamber, they were saying that they knew he was injured then, which is really odd to me, because I would think they wouldn't want him going on a long plane. That's a damn long plane ride to be on. And planes are not comfortable when you have to be on them for that long period of time. So I'm kind of surprised they made him go, unless he volunteered. But even still, yeah, it sucks. The good thing is I've read early reports that it shouldn't be too long. I think they were saying 3-4 months that he has to be out. And then I found it really odd. This puzzled me. The Paul Heyman thing with the whole MSG buildup. Like, I get it. They like to build up these MSG shows. I get it. It's the mecca of wrestling, and it's always been for WWE. But why did he come out knowing what he knew with Bobby, saying you're not going to carry the title into the match with Roman because you're going to lose that title to Bobby Lashley and MSG. And I'm like, wait a minute. They know he's not going to show up there because this was before that. So they knew. So why the hell is he saying he's going to lose to Bobby Lashley unless this is some sort of Paul Heyman setup where he's going to bring someone else to try and take out Brock? I don't know. Or is it just going to be an attack by Roman? I'm not sure, but I just found that weird. Like you know that Bobby's not showing up at Madison Square Garden on Saturday, and maybe he will be there, but he certainly isn't going to wrestle. So I'm not really sure why, and that's not a televised event. It's kind of a house show. So I don't know. I don't know if that's just a ticket seller kind of a thing. But yeah, it's really weird. And then then they had the signing this past Friday, and it wasn't really mentioned. It was just weird. It was just really, really, really weird. So I don't know what happened there, but obviously getting back to the subject, wish Bobby, of course, all the best. He's been nothing but he's been great these last few years. Held the title a couple times, had that long title run. So hopefully we see him back soon, and hopefully he gets healed up pretty quickly, and he's back sooner than later, and back in action again, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because he was doing such a great job. I think everything surrounding that was just kind of, they were still rolling with what was out there in terms of script wise and advertisements at that point, and didn't know how much was public knowledge yet. That could be one thing, but yeah, I think it's interesting with Bobby because yeah, I guess the question was how would you explain taking the title off of him at Elimination Chamber if he wasn't there? If he just didn't show up and they
True.
said, "Oh, we're just gonna have an open Elimination Chamber match for the title." They could have done something like that, but it made sense how they did it.
Good point.
How they kind of wrote him out of that and crown the new champion. But I mean, I hate it for the guy because he's doing great work. I really, really have enjoyed him. This has been similar in some ways to his run in Impact. I wish he was a little bit. There was more, like Tony said, there was more of a peak to it in Impact. But yeah, I mean, he's doing great stuff, and wish him a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Those shoulders, man. I've had a couple surgeries, so they don't. Hopefully, he rehabs and doesn't come back too fast.
Good point. Yep, absolutely. Imagine it's Austin Theory who faces Brock. Expect the unexpected. The champion will be on both. Oh, you're talking about the combined, the unification, if you will. You're going to hear a lot of that term over the next few weeks. There's people that are furious about that. Furious about it. Like I'm kind of stunned because everybody was saying it'd be cool if they did it, and I don't think it's that big of a deal because if the guy who I think is going to win wins, he's just going to end up on both shows. So I think, to me, it makes it a little more interesting because then you can get matchups with both rosters. So it's not just a litany of people from one roster who, if Roman wins, he pretty much ran through the SmackDown roster already anyway. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's cool. I don't know why people are getting so uptight about it. It's crazy. Can Damian Priest get that title shot in with Brock Lesnar and MSG? Maybe they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to do something. They're gonna have to change something there. Oh, Goldberg! Don't say that name.
Right.
Nice.
And I just want to say this too. Traditionally, I said this in the chat, but traditionally there is a title change on that MSG show. Even though it's an untelevised show, there is a title change sometimes at that show. So don't be surprised if something crazy happens at MSG, and then you come back from that and things look a lot different.
That's interesting, Jeff. I wonder. Do you think it could be Seth? Do you think Seth? Do you think Seth sneaks in there and ends up getting that match? Wow. Okay. All right. Well, everybody's thinking it's this big unification thing, but maybe it won't be. I mean, Heyman dropped a couple little hints that that it's not going to be. So maybe it won't. But yeah, can you imagine if someone else snuck in there? They only talk about the MSG show on Raw, which makes you wonder if they could swerve us and have Brock lose the time. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what Jeff was just saying. Maybe he will. I didn't think that would be the case, but maybe he will, because now you don't know who he's wrestling. It's definitely not Bobby. So, interesting. Interesting. That's why we love wrestling, because you just never know. All right. Next up, Jeff, what do we got next?
All right. So from one shoulder injury to another, Moose revealed that he has a torn labrum and has been wrestling with a torn labrum.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And it's not like this guy isn't going all out. If you've been to some of our Impact pay-per-views and have seen some of the matches he was in, this past one on the pay-per-view that he was in with Morrissey, if he was wrestling that with a torn labrum, that's insane. Those two guys destroyed one another. Yeah. Literally destroyed one another. And if he's wrestling with that injury, good Lord. Man, hats off. I just hope he didn't make it worse. But he said he's not going anywhere. He said, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking any time off. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. But I'm not going to say I'm shocked. The dude is in tremendous shape. And just, if anybody can do it, I guess he can. And of course, now all the speculators are going to be like, well, then does that mean it's going to be the end of his reign? Are they eventually just going to take that title off of him now sooner and give him some time off to recuperate? Maybe, but that's going to be up to the wrestler, and of course they have doctors and stuff that look at them and everything too. Maybe it's not obviously it's not a major tear. It might be just a slight tear, like they refer to that in football. They have a slight tear of something. Maybe that's what it is, and man, of course the doctors will tell him, well, okay, hey, you want to work through it. Just be careful with certain things and this and that. So obviously you would think that people in the know would be doing that. But man, anytime a guy works with pain, especially a wrestler, hats off to him. And but hey, listen, Moose has had a hell of a title reign, and as of right now, who is on the show? Does Heath have a chance? We know he has kids. Does he have a chance to beat Moose? I don't know. We'll see. It's an interesting combination. Didn't expect it. But that's coming up. So that's his next obstacle. And then we'll see what happens after that, Jeff. But yeah, man, I just hope he takes care of himself. I don't want to see him lose, have it get worse and go out for a longer period of time.
Yeah, I think at some point it's got to come to an end so he can take care of his body. He got to take care of his body, and I commend him for what he said in this, because he said, I know where I am, and I know that I represent Impact Wrestling right now. I am the champion. That means that I have to work even through injury. And I'll go ahead and say this. It's the same thing with any athlete. When you're a wrestler, you're always wrestling hurt. It's just the difference of, are you hurt or are you injured?
Right.
And this is a legit injury that he might need that he's going to need surgery on if it's torn. So we might have a topic later on in the show that asks a question about his title reign, but just a little bit of a teasing there, a little bit of a segue. But he's got to take care of his body, because if he has plans on doing anything beyond this, then he needs to take care of this sooner rather than later, because he's not a young man. He's not, it's not like he's MJF. He's in his 30s, and these things take a little bit longer once we get up in years. So yeah, and Sean Suslowitz said that I'll put the comment back on the screen. Torn labrum was one of my worst surgeries. Started lifting too soon after the surgery and tore my bicep. I actually had a torn labrum and had surgery on it, and basically did the same thing. I didn't tear my bicep, but I was going down a path that I shouldn't have gone down. So I started lifting way too soon, thinking I could do things way too soon. So yeah, I mean it's one of those things where you got an athlete like Moose who, by the way, just looking at this picture on the screen, the dude is in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, right.
To look at where he was 2 years ago and to see how he's transformed his body, um, yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. I'm always in awe of wrestlers who wrestle as much as these people do, and and just and just put their bodies on the line to entertain us. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. We forget, and a lot of times you do. When you're a fan of a sport or anybody like that is constantly doing something week after week after week after week, you don't realize what they give up to do this and what they go through every week, because we don't see any of that. They keep that all pretty well hidden. But yeah, when the guy's out there week after week, and listen, like him or hate him as a character, and you're supposed to hate him because he's a heel, but you must respect the fact that he's taking up the mantle for Impact Wrestling. If you are an Impact fan, he is your champion, and he's out there on social media talking trash about being the wrestling god, and talking about Roman a little bit and throwing some digs out there about him. So he's taking up the mantle, and that's really what you want in a champion. The character, obviously, when he's playing the character backstage, obviously he says he doesn't care, but that's his character. So, so awesome stuff. Hopefully, like I said, we hope he gets well and decides what he wants to do. And we'll see if maybe they take that title away from him just to give him some time off. So, all right, what do we have next?
all right, last part of the news. We talked about it earlier, but title unification.
Unification. It's like I said, it's so funny. You never know. Like, me seeing this is exciting. To me, it's exciting. It's putting a stipulation into something that we haven't seen for a little bit. But oh my God, like the reaction from everybody, like the whole thing with the Joker Batman, everybody loses their minds. That's exactly what it was. Like, people are going crazy. Like, I can't believe they're doing this. People are on the highest mountains on the socials, on Twitter. Why are they doing this? This is going to be awful. Why are they doing this? Don't do that. What's so bad about it? I don't get it. Like, what is everybody falling off rooftops for about the unification of a title? It's not like it was ever done before. I mean, when you had, I guess maybe it's just because I'm from a different generation. And when you saw it back in the day, it was only always one champion. You always only had one. So I guess for me, I couldn't care less. I don't need two champions on two shows. If one of them wins it, I'm fine with them going and splitting time. All it's going to really do is make them both work harder, because now they're going to have to go to both shows. So they're going to have to appear on two shows. They're going to be at every single pay-per-view. And I already told you guys what my theory is behind all of this anyway. If they're going to do the unification thing, and we just kind of talked about that maybe they aren't, but if they're going to do that, I told you where I think it leads. I think Roman wins it, and I think that's where we're going to see The Rock. And we are probably not going to get that match for quite some time, but The Rock, I think, will come out. And I think that's where that whole thing will start, which is where they wanted to go anyway. So now, if the Madison Square Garden thing happens and it doesn't happen and they take that title off of Brock, well, then you're still going to get the Brock and Roman, but it'll just be for the one title. And if that happens, then I guess you can kind of go either way. Then maybe Brock would win it and dethrone Roman. So I don't know. I don't see the big deal. I don't know why everybody reacted the way they did. Like I said, they went crazy. It blew up Twitter. Like the night of Raw, everybody's like, "Oh my God!" SmackDown. Sorry, last night everybody was going nuts. I was like, what's so bad about this? So I don't know, Jeff. Look, if it happens, cool. I'm okay with it because I think I know where it's going after that. If it doesn't, I'm okay with it too. Um, I don't know though that I think maybe, Jeff, that having the champion be on both shows might get more eyes to both shows. And Raw can sometimes certainly use it. So having, like I said, having that one champion, and especially Roman and what he's doing, having him going to Raw and getting them some eyes on him there might not be that bad of an idea. So
No,
I
no.
don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's an interesting wrinkle and an interesting feud,
Yeah.
and you can look at it a few different ways, but I I'm actually I'm actually excited about it. I
Yeah.
mean, I know I'm the weird guy that um that that likes this kind of stuff. And I know you like it too.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, why not have I mean, remember back in the days when you had the marquee champion, the champion
Yep.
bouncing from place to place. That's what it's all about. If you're the champion, you're the champion of that company, and you have your other belts that serve their purpose as well. So, if you have one championship, it automatically, in my opinion, elevates the other championships because now they've become more of a commodity. If you know that you're not in that title picture for the heavyweight championship, maybe, just maybe, it leads to an IC title. And let me ask you this: if you want to elevate the IC title, why not have a guy like Seth Rollins?
Yeah.
Or I'm not saying that Brock Lesnar would ever hold the IC title, um, but why not have it elevated to something like that? Because it just makes it mean a lot more. And I want the IC title to get back to meaning what it used to mean. I mean, all the belts, the US title, hell, I mean, it used to mean a lot. I'm not saying that it doesn't now, but you know, it makes those belts, more prestigious, I think, having that one belt as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, that's very true. It really does because then you don't have the two championship belts. You're down to the one, and then yeah, like Jeff said, it just elevates everything else. I mean, at one point when we used to watch, or when I used to watch, 80s and middle 80s and 90s, the Intercontinental title was huge
you.
back then. Huge belt. I mean, you had stars that had that thing, and some of them held on to that for a good while. And it was a huge title. And I think maybe that you have two titles on two shows and you don't have the humongous rosters that you had before. Then, yeah, like Jeff said, maybe it would be good for some of these other titles to kind of elevate them a little bit. The chat's talking about some of the tag team title stuff. They just don't do enough with tag teams. I mean, the women, I didn't even know the women's tag team titles were still on the same women. They haven't done anything with them. And now all of a sudden they're gonna probably have something with maybe Sasha and Naomi are going for the belts now. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, there wasn't anybody going for those belts at all for the past however long. So maybe that will be a good thing. And maybe they'll raise up some of these other titles that they've got and don't do anything with, which is good. And maybe too, you won't have to see these two champions wrestle every single pay-per-view.
Right.
You'll only have the one. And then this way, the other titles, like you said, can be elevated because then you can have a US title at the pay-per-view. You can have the tag titles at the I don't see why it's a bad thing. I really don't. So if that's where they choose to go with it, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. All right. I think we're done with the news, Jeff.
We're done with the news, and now we're going to people's favorite segment.
Hey, you guys know what time it is. It's funny. I was just watching Seinfeld, actually. Was the episode where Jerry buys his father the Cadillac. the 2-part episode that Marissa Tomei is in, because George could have gotten the date with Marissa Tomei, but of course he's engaged. That's a great episode. Seinfeld's so funny. And then, oh my God, Kramer was avoiding the cable guy because he was getting free HBO and Cinemax, and the cable guy kept trying to come to his house and disconnect it. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, well, here it is. Everybody's favorite segment. It is time for this.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're gonna hear about it.
Now you're gonna hear them. I love it. I love Jerry Stiller. God rest his soul. All right. I'm gonna start this week. You know, I found with all this stuff that's going on, and again, I'll put it out there right now. Obviously, our thoughts, our prayers, and everything that there could be are out for the people of the Ukraine. I've been keeping my eye on that, watching the news. You can't help but watch, and it's very sad. The families being displaced, the people waiting, 72 to more hours at a border, just trying to get out of the country. It's very, very sad. The whole thing is very, very sad. But I'll tell you what is inspiring is to see how they're fighting back. Nobody when this first started thought that would be the case, but man, their president is inspiring. I mean, who wouldn't fight for that guy? The guy's putting on armor. He's going right out to the front lines. So it was an inspiring thing. And I thought to myself, you know what? Instead of a grievance, well, it is a grievance, but it's going to be an inspiring grievance. It's going to be an inspiring grievance. So let me start. And it's really funny because I was thinking about this on my way to work today a little bit and thinking about what I'm going to say. And I happened to hear a song. I listen to a satellite radio when I'm on my way to work. Most of the time, that's where I listen to Busted Open. But today, of course, it wasn't on. So I had yacht rock playing. If you don't know what yacht rock is, it's just soft rock from the 70s and 80s. And I happened to hear a song by one of my favorite artists. I loved, and again, rest in peace, Robert Palmer. Loved Robert Palmer. Of course, he got big in the 80s with Addicted to Love, and that was his big, big song with the dancing girls behind him. And, that's kind of where he hit that. But he had some good music out really before then. And he's really a unique guy because he can do rock, he can do pop, he can do soft, he can do a little bit of jazz. Was just a really, really good performer. And the song I heard is called Every Kind of People. And it was written in the 70s, so it goes back a ways, long before a lot of you were born. But it was written in a time where, there was a lot of, and it's odd how everything that goes around comes around, but it was written in a time where, very different times, but where there was a lot of things going on in the world, unlike today, but things where you had a lot of stress going on between people and races and creeds and things like that. But what I'm going to read you is a lyric from this, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what I'm going to talk about. So it said, it takes every kind of people to make what life's about. Every kind of people to make the world go round. That's the chorus. And it's very interesting and apropos as to what I'm going to say. All the time that I'm on, and I do a lot of perusing of the socials a lot, because not only for our show, which I'm putting stuff out there, but I'm always looking at what people have to say, whether it be wrestlers that I like or whether it be stuff in geek culture that I like or whatever. I get a lot of my news from there, from my other group and for my 80s show. But the one thing that has been, it's very, very, very disturbing to me over the past 5 or 6 years or so, and it's not just in wrestling culture, it's in a lot of cultures, but you're seeing it more and more popping up in wrestling, and that's why I'm talking about it today. Is that I guess I just kind of don't understand why. It's not the guy from Everson, Lake and Palmer, no. No, Robert was his own guy. He was his own. He was in a group called the Power Station, which he was in with the guys from Duran Duran. Yes, bonus baby news. There you go. But he was kind of a solo act. No, it wasn't that Palmer. But anyway, more and more what you're seeing is not just fans of a subject or of wrestling or of, geek things. You're seeing almost like gangs kind of develop, if I guess for lack of a better term. And, one of those gangs has to always seem to go against the other. And it befuddles me. It really honestly just befuddles me. And I guess I go back to thinking, why can't, that famous saying that you hear is, why can't we all just get along? Why can't we all just get along? And because ultimately, we're all the same. We are all fans of wrestling. We're all wrestling fans. And that can be grouped into so many things, which I'm not going to get into here because, again, that song that I referred to goes on to talk about different races and things like that, and how everybody is. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let's see. In his duty to a king or to a creed, protecting what he feels is right, fights against wrong with his life. And then he goes on to say, that love's the only goal that could bring a peace to any soul. Hey, and every man's the same. He wants the sunshine in his name. And he's talking in that song about racial things and things that were happening in the 70s. I'm going to segue it to wrestling, because why can't we all just admit and say that we're wrestling fans? We don't have to be against each other. We don't have to fight to say that I like this. This is why I like it, and then have to defend it. We don't know. It's all good, Heather. It's all good. I'm always talking 80s stuff, so it's easy for me to do. It's all good. We don't have to always be defending it, and in reverse, we don't have to always be saying that yours sucks, mine is good. And I know a lot of you guys don't. I get that, and that's why you come out to our show. The people who do that constantly, well, they're mostly people that are standalones on Twitter, or they're a lot of followers of a certain group on Twitter, and they're always trying to rally the troops, so to speak, or get behind something. And for lack of a better term, they're just always angry. And they're always spouting off with the anger and just saying, well, they suck. And every other word out of their mouth is suck. Listen, to me, that's not enjoying something. To me, that's not being a wrestling fan. And really, we're just in one big group here. We're not any different than each other. We laugh and we joke about certain things, like we joked about the whole, hey, this person is all elite, or, Oscar the Grouch is all elite. We laugh and joke about that. But there are people who, if we said that on Twitter, oh my God, they'd be all over it. They'd be all over that post. You can't say that about that. There's no way that you can't say that kind of stuff. That's not funny. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. Oh my gosh. Like, chill. It's wrestling. It's wrestling. It's an entertainment thing that we all watch for a couple hours every week to take our minds off of the stuff that's going on outside. The things that are going on outdoors, the real life stuff that we put up with every single day of our lives. It's wrestling. And it doesn't need to be hateful. And yes, Twitter is toxic. I agree. It's one of the worst forums that are out there, but it's everywhere. It really is. It's on all of them. It's out there on Facebook, people posting about it. It's out there on Instagram. It's out there even TikTok now, which I just started using, by the way, and I still don't know how the hell to use it. It's out there on places like that too. I just don't get it. Just enjoy the outlet. Enjoy the outlet. Enjoy what you see every couple days. This is stuff that's taking you away from the things that are outside your door, because that's the stuff that's scary. What we're seeing with this war and what we're seeing with, that's real life. This is entertainment, and it should never get to a point where people are going on and on and on talking about why you suck because you're a WWE fan, or you should just get lost or go do something to yourself because you like AEW, or you should. Oh my God, it's horrible. It's honestly horrible. And I hope you all know, you guys out there tonight with us, those of you who are listening and are not in the chat, those of you who will listen to the video and don't listen to us live, I hope you all know that if there's anything I want to convey, this is a place that you can always come and call your home. Because Jeff and I will never, ever, ever do that. That is not what we're about. We will never be about it. And we wanted to always make this a place where people can come to get away from that kind of stuff. And I hope you guys all know that. And I'm being very, very sincere when I say it. So that's pretty much all I have. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about that because I know it's out there all the time. You guys see it all the time. And I wanted you to just realize that there are alternatives. And you really never should have to put up with it. And however you want to get away from it, whether it's using a block button, a mute button, all that kind of stuff, you always have a home. And you always have a home with us. So there you go. That's my grievance. Jeff, I don't know if you have anything or not.
I have a kind of a grievance, and I've gone back and forth on whether or not I was gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it
Go ahead.
anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not necessarily a grievance. It's just advice to a person that will never listen to me, at all. So it's just kind of putting it out there. Dear Tony Khan, whenever you have an announcement, just say you have a major announcement. Don't give it qualifiers like it's gonna change the wrestling industry forever. Like
Forever.
just say I have a major announcement, it's huge. Watch Dynamite. And I think that's enough to get people in the door to watch it, because the last thing that I want to see, and this goes to your point, I don't want to see wrestling fans being like, "Oh man, uh, my goodness, you know, Tony Khan promised this. He promised us a Rolls Royce, but we got a Pinto." Like I don't want to see that happen. So, just a little bit of advice, just pull back just a little bit. I know you're trying to change the game. I appreciate what you're trying to do. Um, I respect the hustle. I respect, you know, what's gone into AEW, but there are some times, and I don't doubt it. Whatever he announces will probably change. He might change the wrestling world. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But I don't always need to see it. I don't need to hear it. I don't need to read, articles about it. I don't need to worry about any of that. Um, it's just I just want to see more surprises. I want to be shocked, and I want to be like, oh my god, I can't believe they announced that. That's it, really. I mean, just pull back on it's gonna be the biggest thing ever. I would go into more detail about that, why people shouldn't do that, but this is a PG show, and I don't want to, corrupt the minds of young kids out there by hearing something that they don't need to hear. So I'll just say, don't overpromise and underdeliver. Just say, hey, here's a major announcement. Tune in to find out what it is.
And it's funny. It kind of ties into my thing as well because, and Heather's saying, "Well, you never know." Pretty sure they're doing a stadium super show or touring Europe. And it's funny you mentioned that because right as soon as that was said, or shortly after, there was a guy. I'm not going to even mention his name because I don't want to call attention to his account because he's a hater account. That's what he is. There's this dude who has an account on Twitter, and all he did was come out and say, well, if it's a super show, it better just be New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW because Impact sucks and Impact is garbage and they shouldn't include that garbage Impact. It's like, see, that's what I mean. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And I get it. Listen, I'm not dumb. I get it that hate sells. I get it. And a lot of these people with these lousy ass accounts that have nothing better to do all day but stay on and rile the masses, that's what they get attention from, is hate. They don't get it from positivity. They're too stupid to realize how to be positive anyway. And they're too stupid to be logical about stuff. And this guy's a moron. Like I said, I'm not even bringing attention to his account because he's just an idiot. All he does is go back and forth saying how bad Impact sucks. And that's what his whole account's based about. So, and it could have been any other thing for that matter. But yeah, that's what comes from that. So he puts that out there. And of course, the dude is a huge AEW fan. Huge. Every other post he makes is about AEW. So he's a huge AEW. But see, that's what Jeff is pointing out. Be a little bit smarter maybe with what you say. And listen, he's a billionaire. He can say whatever he wants. But if you're kind of concerned about the state of wrestling as a whole, then maybe watch what it is you say. Pull, like Jeff said, pull back the reins a little bit, because you then are inspiring people like that dude to just hate on crap. And it's ridiculous. He's made some statements that were not very good. Not very good at all. There was some things that were involved when some wrestlers were released and stuff that, boy, I'll bet he wishes he didn't say. I'll bet he wishes he could take back, because it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And the masses couldn't really defend it. So there's that. I'm not going to go back to that or anything because it's long done now.
I'm glad we didn't have a show that week.
Oh,
man, I was ready. I was hot. I was ready.
I wouldn't blame you.
I was ready.
I wouldn't blame you. So, but I get totally what he's saying, what Jeff's saying, because yeah, he needs to. I get it. He's excitable. He loves the sport. Cool. But rein it back a little bit, because the last thing you want to be, it's one thing to be a fanboy, and it's one thing to be energetic and in charge of your company and doing cool things. And like Jeff said, bringing in new people and surprises and stuff like that. It's another completely to turn into the leader of a group of chaotic masses. Because we all know historically where that kind of stuff leads. You don't want to be that guy. You really don't. So, good point. I agree. Well, there you go. That was the airing of the grievances for this week. Hope you all enjoyed it. That's a fun show to do, and I hope you took something from it. That's really what we try to get out there for, and get it all out there. So that is airing of grievances, and we are moving on. Meltzy treats cons of you see, and yeah, Big Dan, and that's part of it too. There's a journalist who gets carried away and go. Yeah, I see that. That's a good point.
Yeah,
good point. All right, let's roll on, Jeff. What's next?
All right, so let's ring the bell.
Want to ring the bell? Ding, ding. It is now the time for debates. We are going to do a little debate and play along in the chat. Sell or no sell. We've been doing this since the very start, this segment, and we've always enjoyed this. So let us know what your thoughts are. Sell or no sell. Topic number one, and we'll go to Jeff first. Cesaro, Jeff, should sign. And speaking of which, Cesaro should be all elite. Sign with AEW. What do you think, Jeff?
Was that loud enough? Did anybody?
It was a little soft, but I think I got it. I think that was a no sell. There you go. A little better. All right. Jeff's no selling.
One more time.
Very
Yeah.
emphatically no selling.
No, he should not. While I would love to see him feud against, I would love to see him up against Eddie Kingston. I don't want to see him in AEW. Not because I don't think he'd be great. I think he'd be great. He's gonna be great anywhere he goes. But I'm biased, so I want to see him in Impact, or I want to see him in New Japan. One of those two, I think, would be perfect. Or if Ring of Honor does their reboot, like is being reported,
That's a good point.
why not go back to Ring of Honor? No sell, but I love the guy. I really want to see him and Eddie Kingston again, but it's a no for me right now.
All right. Gene, hey Gene. Gene's singing 80s stuff in the chat, and you know I can't pass that up. You
I
can
know.
ring my bell. I remember that song really well. That was early 80s. That might have been 1980, actually. There you go. Very cool. Cell, he needs to end that feud with Kingston. Cesaro is all elite. Thank you guys. You're truly the best. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. No Cell, but him and Eddie got beef. Totally off topic, but one of my favorite Star Trek he's watching Star Trek. I love Star Trek. I love all Star Treks, pretty much all of them, except which one didn't I watch? Enterprise. I've never watched Enterprise. No Cell. Impact could use a guy like him, and unless he goes back to WWE, but he'd be a great addition to Ring of Honor. Agreed with Jeff there. Faction as maybe their Hollywood Hogan type of big boss. Ring my bell is 70s disco. You might be right, Heather. That might be late 70s. You could be right. Yeah, you could be right. You might have caught me. You could be right. But I think that may have been remade. I'd have to look that up. Because it might have been in the 70s, but it might also have been an 80s song made by someone else. But I don't know. You might be right, though. Could be 70s. Cesaro versus Moose, says Dana. Here's what I have to say. A few years ago, I was at a local park with my mom and my nieces and nephews. We were going to an attraction, and there's a group of kids saw me in my wheelchair. Now, the question my friends and I get a lot are, why are your legs broken? Oh, brother. I'm okay with that type of question because I can tell them what happened, but one of the kids on this particular day asked, why are you short? I know I'm short, but the way he said it makes me, and it's continued, and we'll have to get to that when we get down further. No Cell. Cesaro can go anywhere. He'd fit great in Impact, especially if Josh Alexander signs with AEW. Sky's the limit for him on the Indies. Look at Cardona. Cardona has 6 titles. 6 titles. People now have him with the gauntlet, with Thanos' gauntlet on it, with all of the titles like down the fingers. 6 titles. That's insane. No Cell and Cesaro is the Coog. Cesaro versus Josh if he resigns. Book it. 1979. Oh, there you go. You got me. I was thinking it was 1980. There you go. Okay. All right, Heather. You got me. See, I'm not as good with 80s or 70s stuff. I'm better with the 80s stuff. But you got me. AEW has already spent a boatload of money, and a lot of their young, developed wrestlers are not getting used or are stuck on AEW Darker Elevation on YouTube. Donna Summer. It was Donna Summer, that saying, ring my bell. I'm telling you, I could swear that was done by somebody else, unless I'm thinking about Will Smith in the early 90s. It was original. Okay. All right. Maybe am I thinking of Funky Town? Maybe I'm thinking of Funky Town. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of, is Funky Town. Anyway, was sampled by someone, Will Smith, apparently. All right. So there you go. I am going to no sell this also.
I don't know if you're going to be as emphatic as I was, but
yes, I'm going to no sell it too, because for all the things that the people are already mentioning in chat, yes, could there be some good matchups with him in AEW? Sure, but again, I think right now they've got a lot going on. They're trying to build up their own stars with Eddie Kingston, and they're trying to build up Sammy Guevara, and they're trying to build up now Scorpio Sky is going to get a shot, and now they're trying to build up their own talent. So I don't know that he fits there, at least not right now. Maybe I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the road, maybe some people leave and stuff, but he's not going to want to hang around and wait for a job. So I think, like Jeff said, if Ring of Honor does indeed come back to a full-time show every week, then yeah, I think he'd do really well there. And I'd love to see him in Impact. Absolutely love to see. If the thing is, if Josh doesn't come back, Cesaro would be a good choice. Not that he would fill Josh's shoes. They're kind of different, but kind of some similar things going on. But I think he could fit in really well there. If they're going to keep this whole thing going with Honor No More, and you bring a guy like Cesaro in to be on the Impact side, it looks kind of as if they're getting a little thin. The Impact team is kind of getting a little thinned out. So they might need some people to come in. Now, you got a returning Sami Callihan at some point who's going to take up the mantle. But, I could certainly see him fitting in either Impact or on Ring of Honor. Or, like I said, if he wants to just tour the Indies a little bit or go to New Japan, either one, he's that good that he'll fit. MLW, sure. Why not? Conrad says, hey.
And just remember, he was in Ring of Honor before, so
he was.
So just keep that in mind. There's ties all over the place. So
there you go. I still don't understand the whole Josh thing. I've been trying to figure this out for weeks and still don't know. Yeah, they're really keeping everybody. Who knows? Yeah, EC3's wrestling company, Dana. Yeah, it could be. Control your narrative. Yeah, why not? I can see him doing that. Could absolutely see him doing that. The matches that they have, sure, absolutely. All right, what's next topic, Jeff?
All right. So we talked about this young man earlier. Moose will be dethroned at Rebellion, Joe. Sell or no sell?
Wow. Rebellion. I'm going to sell this, but with a caveat. Really two. If Josh comes back to Impact, yes, I'm going to sell it because Josh would take it back, which would perfectly fit the story. If Sami Callihan comes back for Rebellion, then yes, because that would also be a perfect story if he comes back and takes the title, because he owes Moose and so does Josh. So he's got two people really who can come back and have beef with him, and they would be both perfect choices to take the title from him. So that is it. Yes, I'll say, you know what? I'll just go and I'll just say yes. He will be dethroned at Rebellion, but if neither of those two guys are in the mix, then I'm not so sure, because I don't know who else, is Heath going to take it? I don't think so. And I don't know who else that they can get into that picture right quick to take the belt off of him besides Josh or Sammy. So I'll say sell it, but only because I think or I expect one of those two guys to be back. What about you?
I'm gonna sell it.
Okay.
Even though it's a little bit low, I'm still gonna sell it because why not? Let me see. That was a little bit louder.
A little better.
A little louder. It's tough though, because who do you put up against him that's credible at this point? Because he's just mowed through everyone.
Yeah,
Like he's mowed through everyone. So do you put it on someone else and have them be a transitional champion.
Right.
What do you do with it? But I do think just because at some point the shoulder is going to be enough trouble where he's going to have to do something with it. So I think it'll happen. I don't think it'll happen this weekend at Sacrifice.
No, I don't either.
I don't think it'll happen. Now, knowing Impact, they might screw us all over and give it to them this weekend. They might say, you know what? Take your predictions and shove them because this is what we're doing. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. But I think it's a possibility that he loses at Rebellion. And by the way, I think I'm going to be at Rebellion, so that might be an interesting sight to see.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Jeff may be going to that show. If that happens, Jeff's gonna show me how to run the show. So I'll definitely be doing the pay-per-view, and we'll have to see if we can find Jeff and Jeff may come to us, may do some little something live. So that'll be cool. We'll get a live inside or outside the arena maybe from Jeff that night. So yeah, something to look forward to. It'd be cool. Selling a shocker. Heath goes over and mentions Brock in the promo, and Rhino becomes Heath's equalizer and then feuds with Josh, saying that he doesn't give a crap about his kids in a promo. Scary thought. What if one of the Honor No More guys tried to? Oh, Heather, who do you think should? If you think one of those Honor No More people should challenge for the belt, who would you pick? Who would you think should be the one? Let us know. Who would you think should be the one? Don't you dare say Matt Taven. Wait, was that the Cell sound or was that Cell sound bite a Doctor Who Dalek? But it says bonus baby.
I have no idea.
Maybe it is. It does kind of sound like that, doesn't it? I've only seen that. I haven't seen Doctor Who in years. Do you know I was watching Doctor Who when I was a kid in the 70s? That's how old that is. That was the Doctor Who that had the real frizzy hair. Mm-hmm. I don't know the counts of them. I know there's 19,000 doctors. But yeah, I don't know which one he was, but he wore a hat and he had really curly hair, like 70s hairdo. So I was watching it back then, but I haven't watched the recent ones. Kenny King. Okay, Jason.
As a challenger, that would be interesting.
I'd be down with that. I'd be down with that.
That'd be interesting.
I'd be down with that. Did we ever get Moose versus Jay White? I don't know that. Somebody else mentioned Jay White up in the chat too, but I don't know that Jay would be, especially with him working with AEW and stuff now too. I don't know that he'd be a guy to have the belt. I get it. I know they did that with Kenny, but I don't know. I don't know that I don't know that I want to go back to doing that again. So I'm not sure. Tom Baker. There you go. Some people are what's that called? What are you guys? Are you Whovians? If you're a Doctor Who fan, are you a Whovian? Is that the official term? There's a lot of Doctor Who fans in my Facebook group, that geek group that I have, but I've never been big on Doctor Who. I've never been big on it. I used to watch them when I was a kid, but never been big on it since. No sell. Moose isn't losing to Heath. I just can't see it. If it's Honor No More, it has to be Vincent. Either Sammy or Josh should take it from Moose. Mike versus Moose. Dang, either Taven or Bennett. Whovians. I was right. There you go.
You're right, Joe.
That was a complete guess, but there you go. I'll pat myself on the back for that one. All right, Jeff, what's next?
All right. Hopefully it doesn't make anybody mad. Charlotte versus Ronda should not main event WrestleMania 38 night 1. Sell or no sell?
Oh. Jeez. With the way this is going, I should not main event WrestleMania night 1. No, I'm gonna no sell the should not. Yeah, that's how I want to do it. Yeah, I'm no selling it.
Hold on, let me boost it up.
Yes.
There we go.
Barry Horowitz, yes. Good call, Conrad. Barry Horowitz. That's great. Yeah, so I'm no selling that they should not main event night 1. The way it's set up, they have to. I guess the other slot you could have put in this, listen, the women have to main event a night. I want to see, personally, the women main event the whole damn thing. That's what I want to see. I want to see a women's match headlining WrestleMania. That's the next step. That's where they need to go. And I want to see it. I don't care what match they make it. but I want to see it happen because that's, I think, the next logical step with their women. Now, could this have been Becky and Bianca? Sure. And I guess if you're going to look at it where you would say that it shouldn't, maybe that's what you're thinking it should be, that it should be Bianca and Becky. And and I really have no argument for that. I have no argument for it. I'm not gonna listen. I think that they're doing this because of Ronda's name. And they're doing it because Ronda's such a big celebrity all over the world and everything like that. And she's returning to do this. And, you know, she's that returning person like Brock is for the men's side that probably isn't going to stick around very long. But this is the thing that WWE likes to do, and we better be used to it by now. This is what they do. They bring these people in to put asses in seats. And they don't stick around very long sometimes. They might not be, if she wins, if she beats Charlotte, which I'm pretty sure she's going to, she may have the title for a little while. Maybe she'll stick around for a year or so, and she's probably out. But so in that respect, should it be? But I'm talking myself out of my own thing. Oh, maybe I should have voted the opposite way, and it should be Becky and Bianca. Especially with the fact that Bianca is more than likely going to win that. But I guess looking at it from a standpoint, should they not main event night one? You know, the only other choice would be Bianca and Becky. But I get why they're doing it. This is one of the biggest stadiums in the United States. It seats over 100,000 people or more. And they're going to want to stick butts in seats in that stadium. And surely Ronda is going to do that. No offense to Becky and Bianca, but, you know, Ronda's that big name that they love to bring in. So I get both sides of the argument, though. And this is tough. This is a tough call because you certainly can go Becky and Bianca with it, too. But again, for me, the next step with them at WrestleMania is I want to see a women's match headline. Because I think they deserve it. I don't mind this one, but I actually feel Becky versus Bianca should main event because unless Bianca does Becky the same as she was done at SummerSlam, I think it'll be a better match. Oh, yeah, I would have no doubt there. I want Becky and Bianca, but they probably want Ronda coming back to shine, and then her and Becky main event WrestleMania 39 in a title unification match. Unless they do it at SummerSlam. Well, if they're getting into that whole unification thing, then maybe they would want to keep doing that. Jeffrey, I didn't see your question. It's probably way up here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Where are you? I'm looking for Jeffrey. Can't find it.
I put it on the screen right now.
Oh, there it is. What if Eddie helped Moose retain at Rebellion and then Eddie asked Moose to join him with former ROH guys? They never know. That'd be cool. I'd be all right. Jesse says, so sell. Ronda beats Charlotte night one, then Becky versus Ronda night two, and Ronda takes both belts. Sell, now that it's 2 nights and now that it's been established that there are 2 Rumble winners, it only makes sense that each get to main event. Going to AEW dark taping Thursday in Orlando as well ahead of the pay-per-view weekend. Won't be on the stream Thursday, but I'll send pics from the dark tapings that night plus the whole weekend. Oh, cool, Derek. Yeah, that's right. He showed me some meet and greets that he's going to do too. That's awesome. Good for you, dude. Enjoy. So far, it's been rumored that each night so far has only sold 50,000 tickets in AT&T Stadium. Yeah, it holds double that. Well, I hope they get more. I'm going to yell at Danhausen. Charlotte is not going to sell for Ronda. She is too full of herself. Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Wasn't Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky the main event at WrestleMania? It was triple threat. Yeah. What are we doing? Says the Ace. We are having a watch along. Unless I'm in the Twilight Zone or something and I don't really know what I'm doing, but yeah. Sell if this means Ronda beats Charlotte and then she faces Becky at night 2 and win all the belts. You think they're gonna just fight the next night too? That's interesting. Well, Jeff, go ahead, man. Sell or no sell it.
I love it.
Okay.
Sell Becky and Bianca. Why? Because the story is drawing me in. The fact that Becky showed up at SummerSlam, did what she did to Bianca at the height of her run. Bianca was having an incredible run. It gets distinguished by Becky. Um, the fact that those two have an opportunity to go head to head at WrestleMania, and you think about Bianca's WrestleMania moment last year, why not have them main event night one? You already know what you're going to get night two. So why not have them main event? Because I just feel like the story is there a little bit more. Um, just just a thought. I feel like that's the more intriguing matchup to me. So I'd rather see that one. Not saying that I don't want to see this, because I do feel like it's going to be great. But I just want to see Bianca and Becky. I want to see how that's going to play out.
Fair enough. It's a full year storyline as opposed to these two kind of just, and like Jeff said, there really isn't much from these two as far as, recent storyline or anything that they built up. So, yeah. Yeah, great point. Absolutely great point. What are we watching? Says the Ace. You're watching the Insiders Wrestling Podcast? What are we watching? Nothing much. Not much right now. We're just doing our show. All right, Jeff, what's next?
All right, so next we're going to talk about what to watch for. We got two big pay-per-views this weekend coming up. The first one is Impact Sacrifice on Saturday, which we will be here on this channel doing a watch along for
Yes,
that.
we will. Yes, we will. And Sacrifice. I mean, look at some of the matches on this card. We've got Trey Miguel and Jake Something for the X Division title. And Jake Something's really putting it out there that he wants this belt. He's on social media talking all about this. So maybe it's Trey Miguel's time to lose. We'll see. But we got that match. We have Jay White of the Bullet Club, and Alex Shelley. We have not seen Alex Shelley since before COVID started. When COVID first started, that was when Alex Shelley just gone. We have not seen him since. He was the partner of Chris Sabin. That tag team, they were on top of the world, and then he just left. We didn't know where he went. We didn't know whether he was coming back. Well, obviously he's back, and he's fighting Jay White at that pay-per-view. We have Jonah versus PCO from Ring of Honor. Jonah wants monsters. He's been asking out on Twitter, I want monsters. I want monsters. Well, he got one. He got a monster from Ring of Honor. So Jonah against PCO. We've got Eddie Edwards against Rhino. Now, of course, this is the whole thing about Eddie Edwards turning on them and Rhino taking up the mantle, saying that he's going to be the one that's going to take him out. And then we've got the Good Brothers against Violent by Design for those Impact Tag Team titles. Good Brothers just keep on winning. But now they're going to go up against the guys who they made a deal with, and they broke the deal. And Eric Young is not happy about that. So that's just some of the matches we've got going. And it's going to be a good show. These little pay-per-views that are kind of their off-month ones are becoming better and better and better with all this cast of people that they have there. So it is going to be really, really good. I'm sorry, I'm not convinced PCO is going to survive that match. Jonah got Frankenstein's monster. He did. He did. He got a monster. He asked for it, right? So make sure you join us for Sacrifice. Jeff, Sacrifice is going to be a lot of fun. And, we go from one to another, and they're not skimping on any of these cards.
No, they're not. Again, this is why we love Impact so much, because they continuously put on great cards.
Yep.
And everything builds between the cards. Even though, think about this, they just had one last weekend.
Yep.
And then they're turning around and having this one.
Yeah.
And yet we got enough build in the show last week, and I know we'll get it this week where it makes sense. So I'm really excited about this. Looking forward to watching this.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we will be here for it, guys. So make sure that you come out and check it out with us. Come out and watch along with us. We will be doing that. Oh, were you panicking because you heard us say watch along? Oh, jeez. Sorry, dude. All right. And we got another one too coming up, Jeff.
Yeah, we got a Revolution coming up.
AEW Revolution. And again, look at the card for this. You've got this is the you've got Keith Lee and Wardlow with Shawn Spears, or Max Caster versus Powerhouse Hobbs, or Dante Martin versus, and you got TBD Face of the Revolution ladder match for a future AEW TNT Championship. Got a lot of TBDs in there, so a lot of possible surprises. And don't be shocked if you get the Hardy Boys. Don't be shocked. A lot of that going around. So, and what a better place to bring them back than for a ladder match. CM Punk versus MJF, a dog collar match. So we got you don't see them very often anymore, matches like this, but you've got a stipulation in that with the dog collar. Jurassic Express with Christian versus TBD and TBD. So a lot more TBDs. But yeah, you have some good stuff going on for this pay-per-view. And listen, the highlight of this show for me is going to be Thunder Rosa and Dr. Britt Baker. Without a doubt. The match that those guys had the first time around is still in my mind. That unsanctioned match they had was brutal. I would like nothing better than to see Thunder Rosa win this. People were campaigning to have this be the main event. AEW fans were campaigning to have this be the main event. It won't be, because you're going to see Hangman versus Adam Cole as well, which in itself is going to be another great match too. But I would love to see them highlight or headline that show. But there's some great matches here, and that Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa one really intrigues me. Is this the time for Britt to lose? I don't know. Maybe not. But I would love to see Thunder Rosa be the champ. Love to see Thunder Rosa be the champ, Jeff.
Yeah, I want to see that too. I want to see. There's a lot that I want to see on this.
Yeah.
The MJF match, Hangman and Adam Cole, baby.
Yep.
There's a lot that I want to see. But yeah, I definitely want to see Thunder Rosa and Dr. Britt Baker.
Yep.
I want to see win, like you said.
Obviously, Kingston and Jericho too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now that I want to see.
Yeah.
This could honestly, on paper right now, it looks like it could be a contender for pay-per-view of the year on paper.
Yeah.
Now, if it plays out that way, then for sure it could be in the running. But this could be a great night for sure. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we get a lot of good stuff on this show, and people are asking, "Are we doing a stream for Revolution?"
Yeah. It's
we had a unfortunate experience before.
Yeah, we really did. It's so hard for me to come back to listen. I'm never going to say never for something, because you guys ultimately determine what we do. I'll never say never, but here's what I'll do, and I'll put it out there to make it fair. Okay, if you want us to do it, I will put out a poll. Okay, the poll I will put out will be on Twitter, and I will also put it on YouTube. Okay, and I could even throw it up in our Facebook channel as well. If you really want us to do it, let us know on the poll, and we'll see what the votes end up being. Okay, I'll judge it by how many people vote and what the answer of the votes are. Because again, we do things. Yeah, the reason Jeff and I are leery to do them is because the one time we did one, we simulcast on Facebook and Twitter and Twitch with this show and YouTube. The one time we did, they literally took us down on Facebook because they said we were using audio and video, which you guys well know we never do. We never, ever, ever do the audio and video. We can't. We know we'd get in trouble if we did. We never even let it happen as a mistake. Like a lot of people, sometimes you'll hear the audio in the background. We don't do that. So, but that said, I'll let it up to you. Okay, I'll put it out there because it's been a while since we've done one. I'll put it out there for you guys. If we get a good amount of votes, and I'm talking like, if we get like 20 some votes, then I can't really go by that because that's not really a lot. Because I know there are a lot of you guys out there that watch our show. We get, for Impact alone, we get 400 and some, 500 and some sometimes. For pay-per-views, we get thousands. Now, I know we get some that aren't usual community people. So if we can, I don't know, what say, Jeff, like 50, 60 might be fair, and their yeses. If we can get 50, 60 yeses or so, we'll consider doing it.
And that doesn't mean to create an account 50 times.
Yeah, no fakes. Yeah. Please don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Don't waste your time. Really, seriously, don't. Nick's big. Yeah, Nick, all you have to do is go and listen. If you're on Twitter, I'll post it up after the show. Go ahead and vote. I'll post it up on YouTube as well. Go ahead and vote. If you'd like us to, I get it. And listen, I appreciate that you want us to do it. So, that was a while ago, being fair. It was almost like a year and a half ago, probably now, or it could have even been 2 years ago that we last tried it. So, I would recommend not putting it on Facebook. They have some type of auto detector that takes them down. I had the same thing happen. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Conrad would know. He does a lot of stuff with AEW. So maybe we won't. Maybe we just won't put it on Facebook that day. All right, but let us know. We'll move on. Let us know, and if it's something you'd like to see, let us know. And we'll certainly consider it. Yeah, we can even bring Conrad in with us too, because Conrad watches them as well. Doesn't do watch-alongs for them. Does a follow-up show for that too. So yeah, let us know. Let us know what you think. I'll put the polls out there, and we'll go by the poll. Okay. All right. Moving on. What's next, Jeff?
All right, let's book a wrestler.
Oh, we're doing a book of wrestler this week. All right, cool.
Let's do it. So the wrestler is, after this intro, who is it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Who is it?
It's gonna be Masha Slamovich.
Nice. Those of you who watch Impact know who Masha is. Masha is a recent signing to Impact Wrestling. And ever since then, she has been dominant. She's been, now, granted, people are going to say, well, she really hasn't wrestled anybody yet. You're correct. She's been giving people that she's basically been destroying in just a few minutes or so. But she's looked absolutely incredible. So the question is, and those of you who are who watch Impact and who Masha is, play along with us in the chat. How would you book her if you're not liking the way maybe that Impact's booking her, or maybe you do, the long play? But how would you book Masha Slamovich? Let us know. Jeff, go ahead. You could start. How would you book her?
Honestly, I wouldn't do anything any differently up to this point, but now I would start having her be in some confrontations with some people that are up the ladder a little bit in the knockouts division. So what I would do next is I'd maybe have her go up against Tasha Steelz. After this week coming up, I'd maybe have her go up against Tasha, maybe even someone like a Savannah Evans to really establish herself as a true threat. And I know a lot of people are thinking that the Chelsea and Mickey stuff is coming. I don't think you need a title in that feud to make that special. So could it be possible that Masha wins that title before we get to that, or could Chelsea cost Mickey in a title match against Masha, and that's how we get that? Honestly, I love Masha. This was a great signing for Impact Wrestling. Their knockouts division is tremendous. Larry Bongo, I love that idea of putting her in Violent by Design.
Ooh.
I love that. Like, I really do love that. But yeah, I would just have her be a monster from now until it's time for her to win that title. And, eventually, does she come out one week and, I mean, James Grant just said this, does she come out one week and challenge Deanna for one of the titles? Does she challenge her for
Ooh.
Ring of Honor title?
Wow. Okay.
That's a question. So
Mm.
just throwing that out there. What about you, Joe?
First of all, I got to say, someone mentioned a thing about her hairspray. She's definitely got, that's a Bride of Frankenstein hairstyle, which I kind of dig because it's kind of classic horror type stuff. She's using Aquanet, by the way, just so you know. That's an 80s hairspray that you could never comb out of your hair. But Masha, what I want to see first with her is are they going to make her a face or a heel? That's what I'm kind of seeing heel as far as what we've seen so far, but it's hard to tell because she's just coming out and just decimating the people that they're throwing in front of her. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be a heel, but I kind of would want to know where they're going with her. Personally, I'd make her a heel. And the Violent by Design suggestion is amazing. But I would make her a heel. Which would then make it tough because obviously Deanna's a heel as well. But are you going to have her be the one that's going to dethrone Mickie James and take the title from her? If not, what's the big feud you're going to make? I mean, obviously they're trying to build her into a monster. And that's what, I mean, she's just destroying anybody that gets put in her way. So if you're going to keep on doing that, and I'm okay with that too, like Jeff said, I like what they're doing so far. They haven't really given her anybody to that was a name wrestler, but they're building her up slowly and they're having her look dominant doing it, and I'm fine with that. Jason's talking about Rosemary and Havoc. Could you imagine if she joined Decay?
Good.
Ooh, would I be up for that one? I would be totally up for that one because she'd fit. They're all monsters in that group, and if they're making her into a monster, and again the hair has it. Oh my god, I'd love it. I'd absolutely
Look at
love it.
what Conrad said.
Out of box ID. Oh, that would be fantastic. Oh my god, could you imagine? That'd be amazing. The Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. That's awesome. Oh, that's fantastic, Conrad. I love it. I absolutely love that. That's great. Thing is, you can still book heel versus heel. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. That said, I would like to see her continue to dominate whoever she's wrestling. Have her now start to go up against some other. I know someone mentioned Lady Frost. Lady Frost has been great too, so they can have a good program together. Because maybe have one win one week, the other win, you know what I mean? Unless you're going to really try to have her be undefeated until she gets into whatever she's going to get into. I think she's good where she is as a single star. I don't know that I want to see her tag teaming or anything like that because you could kind of get lost with that. But keep on building her slowly. And bringing her in slowly. And Jeff mentioned this a few weeks ago on an Impact show that he really feels that she's going to be a future champion. And I don't disagree. With the way they're building her up, it's like they do build a champion up. So I have no doubt that is probably what's coming. I want to see a little bit more. I want to see where she's headed with her persona. I want to see what she's going to be. Is she going to be a heel? Is she going to be a face? We'll see. I think she'd, like I said, work better as a heel. And I wouldn't mind seeing her with a monster kind of a team with Decay. And then, I mean, because any of them could win that title. I mean, Rosemary's had it. Havoc's had it. So she could certainly get it. Or if she just wants to end up being a loner, which is fine too. But if that's the case, then let's start giving her some matches against some higher profile women, and have her show that she's going to beat them down as well as she has been too. So I'm picturing David Spade and his girlfriend in Grown Ups 2 with that booking idea. They can work, but I was thinking someone like Heidi Howitzer or Freya the Slayer, says Sean Aker. PCO and Masha managed by Jimmy Jacobs. No, Father James Mitchell. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Guys are awesome. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Decay, Masha plays mind games for Havoc to turn on Rosemary and then join her like Taya did in TNA with Madison Rain. I never attacking everybody on the roster, including Deanna, Mickey, and everybody else. Just a loose cannon. Thing is, that was heel versus heel. Keep the women's championship in AEW on Britt Baker. Going back to the Britt Baker thing. Masha in Honor No More because of Maria. Mind games, and she possibly changes up her look to look badass and come out with a suit. If you use Aquanet in the 80s, just one time in your hair, it's still in there. It's probably right. Heather laughed about that Aquanet hair metal baby. Woo! Aquanet's the shit. You know, the town I live in still sells it. This goes to show you how backwards we are up here in Northeast PA. You can still buy it. Build Mosh as Rhea Ripley. And possibly not now, but make her have an undefeated streak. And we got a star in her, Joe and Jeff, says Jeff Samuel. Okay. Give the Knockouts an hour-long weekly show. Bring in a secondary Knockouts title. Put it on either Masha or Tasha Steelz. Dude, if anyone could have a Knockout show, they could. They could certainly do that. Certainly do that. And wouldn't matter at all. Love 80s hair, says Jeff. Oh, man. All right. Well, there you go. So that is our Book of Wrestling. If you have anyone who you would like us to do in this segment on our show, let us know. Let us know in the comments of the video tonight. Let us know wherever you want to. Let us know who you would like us to book. In the past, we've done Bray Wyatt. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember now. We've done a bunch of them. But yeah, let us know if there's anyone that you want us to do in that segment, and we will certainly consider it. All right. What's up next, Jeff? I think we have favorite moments.
Favorite moments of the week.
All righty. Here we
Coming
go.
up. And you guys need to play along in the chat.
Yes. Let us know what your favorite 3 moments of the week in wrestling are. And we will do the same. So, Jeff, what's your number 3?
Oh, man. This is a tough week.
A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff going on. My number 3 of the week, though, I think it has to be Moose opening up the show on Impact. Because the promo that he cut, and you're going to see a theme in my top 3. The promo was just tremendous. It was funny at times. The comment that he made to Heath about his kids, though.
Oh, my God.
Made me laugh.
Oh, that was great.
I mean, it just made me laugh hysterically. But yeah, my number 3 is Moose. With that opening of the show, I thought it was great.
I'm going to go to Impact also with my number 3, but I'm going to go with the ending of the show and Eddie Edwards and Alicia at the end of the show. How cool was that? I was kind of expecting someone to come down and challenge Eddie, whether it be Sammy or someone else maybe appears in there. Obviously, he's probably not ready yet, but I was expecting someone to come down and challenge Eddie. But, man, what a great job Alicia did. Coming down there and very heartfelt. And those two, I mean, you would think it would be. The two of them are together. So very heartfelt promo with her coming out there. And, you know, and then you could kind of see even a little bit of hesitancy on Eddie's part. You know, when he left, I don't think he was maybe as confident as he was when he was in the ring before she came down. So now it's really interesting to me where they can go with that, because now is Alicia a feud now for Maria Kanellis? Is that what's going to happen from this? Or I don't know, but is Alicia the rallying cry for Impact, which is really cool. Look, the fact that they have the best knockouts division going, it does make it, it almost seems right to have a woman be the one to come in there and kind of organize everything with them, because they kind of just seem disorganized right now, with everybody in there. So maybe it's going to take Alicia to rally the troops. But I thought that was one of the and I know Conrad was saying promos. Yeah, this week I think we're going to see a theme, and it's probably a lot of promos. But yeah, that was one of the good ones. And the ending of the show was really, really good. Really, really good. So that's my number 3. Thank you guys. You truly are the best. Just letting you guys know how awesome you guys are. Well, thank you, Nick. Really appreciate that. Always appreciate a compliment. It's all promos. 3 is Moose's promo on Impact, says James Grant. Agreed with Jeff. The 1, 2, 3 MJF promo, said Derek. We're going to get a lot of promos, I could see. Charlotte and Ronda promo. Johnny Knoxville returning to SmackDown. Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho promo. Abaddon eviscerating the guy on Twitter. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw. Good for her. Good for her. And she should have. That guy was a clown. She should have. You didn't see that, Jeff?
No, I didn't see that.
It was some moron that was body shaming her, basically. And she came out and just like destroyed the guy. So yeah.
Let me guess. This person probably doesn't have a profile picture. They just have like something made up.
Yeah, it was one of those things, because I think somebody was saying that the dude had like 4 followers on Twiter. So yeah, it was probably a fake account. I have no doubt. It's probably a fake account.
People like that can get bent. That's right. That's how I feel about that.
Yep, absolutely. Alicia going to join tried of being the bully in Impact. She needs some change. MJF shedding tears in his promo. Did not see that coming. Posted a picture. She posted a picture. Someone made some comments. Called her a pig. It's just I'm not even going to repeat what they said, idiot. So, all right. So, what is your Sean Rousset says 3 is MJF's promo, 2 is the Moose promo, 1 is an Edge promo. What is your number 2, Jeff?
My number 2. Surprise, surprise, more promos.
It's a promo.
It's a promo top 3 this week. I'm going to go Eddie and Chris Jericho. Just for reasons we've already talked about early in the show. Those two in a ring on a microphone. Good Lord. And then the line where he said, "I want the Jericho that Triple H hated," that popped me. So I'm
that was great. Absolutely great. And we're just going to continue this on, because I'm going to go with a promo too. I'm going to go with something, though, that we may have not already chatted about. It was mentioned, and somebody mentioned it in the chat. I'm going to go with the Edge promo, man. That dude is a legend for a reason. When he comes to the ring, people listen, and they pan that camera right in close to Edge's face, and he just gets it out there. And did you hear all of the teases he got in that speech? He talked about phenomenal. There were mentions of so many other little nuances that could have been any other of these wrestlers out there. So it's whatever comes of this, whoever ends up challenging him, I hope it's AJ. I really want to see AJ and Edge. I want to see it. I really want to see it, and I hope that's what it is. But we'll get an answer. But dude, who would have thought 2 years ago, or who would have thought 3 years ago, or whatever, that Edge, and again, it could be Cody Rhodes. Maybe it's Cody Rhodes, and he alluded to him too. So who would have thought, though, that 3 years ago or so we'd be seeing this guy coming in the ring and delivering promos like it was 11 years ago in wrestling? He's just good, and this is why he's who he is. He's a legend in the business. And man, can he generate heat. He comes out and he just does that thing, and he gets himself fired up. And he's just talking to people on a camera, point blank in his face. And you could just see this coming. Come on, you come and wrestle me and I'll make you famous. Dude, that's pretty awesome. and it was an amazing promo, and I can't wait to see who it is. Listen, if it's Cody Rhodes, I'm down. If it's AJ, I'm even more down. I really want to see that match. The two of them deserve to have that. I whatever it is, don't be surprised if whatever Edge does is the show stealer, because it happens more often than not. So number 2 is my the Edge promo for me. James says number 2 is Roman. The Ace saying Owens and Rollins getting added to tag title match. Buddy Matthews debut and Eddie Edwards betrayal. I can't think of my number 3. Maybe the Abaddon tearing into that guy because it was epic. 2, ending of the SmackDown segment with Roman, Paul, and Brock. Another great promo. 1 was the MJF promo. Jeffrey Sam says 2, Eddie Edwards and Chris Jericho, and also Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Yeah, how about Balor coming back and making a big difference? Look, how about Balor and Ciampa? Just the fact that we got Balor and Ciampa in a match, I was kind of marking out a little bit about that when I saw that. So yeah, that's awesome. I mean, Finn was nowhere to be found. And then all of a sudden he comes back big. So, I mean, people now are thinking maybe it's Demon Finn against Damian Priest. Never know. Just another big thing that they could be showing on WrestleMania. Maybe Edge's promo can be my number 3. It was really good, man. Yeah. Edge just really good at that. Sean says number 2, the rumors of Vince having a match at Mania. It's just wild that's being considered at his age. I'm sure it's a work. Imagine it's Edge versus Austin Theory, though. Could be. Yeah, I mean, it could be anyone. Eddie's promo telling the Impact guys you couldn't get the job done versus Omega and getting the Impact title back. That was a sharp razor cut. Yeah, and he never got his opportunity to take it back for Impact. No, yeah. Rumors is Edge's promo was by himself. Nobody wrote that. Wow. I wouldn't doubt it. Would not doubt it one bit. AJ versus Edge would cause both men to be arrested for stealing WrestleMania. That match would potentially get 5 stars from that. You talking Meltzy? Meltzy would give it 5 stars? I'd be shocked.
I need to come up with the sound clip for him.
Yeah, you need a Meltzy sound clip. I need somebody to design a Meltzy logo. I want like a melting ice cube, like on a real like skinny body or something like that, with a melting blockhead. See the reference there? With the melting and stuff like that. Yeah. We need a melt.
I think I found one.
Did you? Uh-oh.
Oh, donkey.
We need it. Oh man, we're gonna have Meltzy's gonna be our mascot. Yes. Chris Jericho mentioning Eddie on Dynamite. Yeah. Edge has an intense smolder and fire in his crazy eye. Yeah, he's got those crazy eyes, doesn't he? Him and Willie Mack can have a crazy eye staring contest.
Yes.
All right, let's go to our number 1s. What was your number 1, Jeff?
Number 1, we talked about it already. MJF.
Yeah.
That was tremendous.
Really was.
And he's now CM Punk's gonna be in trouble because he's getting suckered in, or maybe he won't be. But that was tremendous. Seeing that level of emotion, it really was tremendous.
Yeah, and I mean, I could probably put that up with promos, with other promos too. I mean, Eddie and Jericho's promo and MJF's promo were both fantastic, but I have to give the nod to MJF. And again, for all the reasons I stated earlier, his age, number 1. Number 2, the reverence he plays to the past of wrestling, which I always like to see. Anyone that does that, I'm a fan. And the fact that he gives them reverence by doing classic things. And you could just tell he studies the game. He knows what his business is. The fact that he's always in character, and the fact that he really came out and did a hell of a job with that, with the tearing up and you can just getting all emotional and stuff like that. Yeah, kudos. For as young as he is, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. It just goes to show you, hopefully the dude doesn't get in any injuries or any long-lasting injuries or anything like that, and can be around for a while, because he's going to be a staple for a long time to come. And I can't see him ever turning into a face. You just can't see it. He just plays that so well that I just can't see him ever changing. And he could be one of those heels that could be a heel his entire career. So, yeah, that's my number one, too. Totally agree. MJF better be prepared for WWE to back up the cash trucks if he hits free agency. Yeah, like I said, we'll see. There might be I don't think Khan will let him go, but he's going to get a payday wherever he goes. He's going to get a payday. The more you know logo with Meltzy followed by 5 stars. MJF Roman Reigns promo and Brock also got better. Cowboy Brock's pretty funny. Yeah, Cowboy Brock's pretty funny. And yeah, the Roman thing was cool too, about how Roman owns everyone and everybody works for Roman. Like he even said the security guys work for me, the announcers work for me, everybody works for Roman. Yeah, that's a good promo too. But yeah, Cowboy Brock's pretty good. I'm digging Cowboy Brock. They're letting him cut loose. I like how he's doing the Heyman thing for himself too. The reigning and defending. And he just does it by himself now. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Here are my 3. MJF. Well, Mark says MJF.
There you go.
Hi, Dexter. Number 1 AEW programming this week, specifically Dynamite. The go-home show to sell the pay-per-view, which could be on paper the best of the year. Maybe John Cena is signing with AEW. If Cody Rhodes is leaving, John Cena's not going to sign with AEW. No way.
I know he's hosting Wipeout on TBS. That means nothing.
Yeah, no way. John Cena's going to AEW. No way. John Cena's concentrating on acting, and he should.
He's
Peacemaker was amazing. Amazing. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. You really see like where John Cena excels, and it's playing roles and stuff like that. So it was fantastic. So, all right, there you go. We are done with our top 3 moments of the week. What do we got left? I think all we have left is time for is it Jesse time? I think.
Yeah, it's Jesse time.
Yeah, we're getting on in the show here, so we're coming to the end, and that means it is time for some comedy from Jesse Calynn. So it's time for Jesse to tell us and leave us with some jokes, so everybody can leave smiling at the end of our show, because we like to promote that kind of a thing. And I don't know if you guys know our history, but we've known Jesse for a long time, and the full time we've been doing this, and Jesse's been doing jokes, and now she's coming to do them on our show. So Jesse says 7 tonight. All right. Well, we're ready to go whenever you are. And don't forget, if you're new to our channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate that. Make sure you throw up a like on the stream tonight. Leave us comments in the video, on the video below, if you want to have us book a wrestler of anybody that you would like to choose. And don't forget, I'm putting up the 2 polls. So I'll put a poll up on Twitter, and I'll put a poll up on YouTube. So right here on YouTube, where a lot of you are watching, for whether or not you would like us to stream the AEW Revolution pay-per-view. And please go and vote if you are interested, and you would like that to happen. Then please go and vote and let us know. Like I said, I want to get a certain amount. If I only get like 10 people or so, then yeah, we're not. You guys would understand that. If I only get like a certain amount of a handful of people, then obviously then the masses have spoken, and obviously it's not that big a deal. But if we get a good amount of people saying yes, we will certainly consider it, because you are our audience and we listen to you guys. So don't forget to go and check that out. It'll be up right after we leave tonight. I'll pop it up there. So don't forget to vote. They stay up usually for, the YouTube one will stay up forever. The Twitter one usually stays up for a day. I'll put it on a longer timer. I'll actually let it sit out there for a couple days, so that people can get a chance to see it. So, but yeah, make sure that you do if you want us to do that. So, all right, Hardy Boy's back. All right, Jesse, you're up. All of you. Tomorrow is Abby's window. Make sure you come back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time and join Jeff and G.O.D. They have all the news and stuff like that goings on about one Bray Wyatt. And Jesse has, or Jody, God, I'm getting my J's confused. Jody has some things that she wants to talk about on the show tomorrow, maybe some new stuff that she's going to talk about. So make sure you join them tomorrow at 6, and then come back and see us on Thursday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time for a go-home show for Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. Don't miss it. Impact's been awesome. And even if you don't watch it, and if you're a wrestling fan and have nothing to do on a Thursday night, come out and check it out. You won't be sorry. And then we'll stay after and do After the Impact with our predictions for Sacrifice on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll be back here on Saturday for Sacrifice watch along as well this week. So Brandon says the Hardy Boys are coming back. We'll see. Maybe. All right, Jesse, you're up. All good. It is your time now. So
They'll be in Albany in a couple weeks.
Yes, that's right. That's coming up. Wow, that's really coming up. That's a
2
couple
weeks.
of weeks.
2 weeks from today.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks, and we'll be meeting the man, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, and amongst others. And I get to meet Rosemary. All right, number 1. I was reading a great book about an immortal cat the other day. It was impossible to put down. All right. CM Punk, Ring of Honor, Hall of Fame. Yeah, Ring of Honor is announcing some of their Hall of Fame candidates. Yeah, I've seen that.
CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, the Briscoes.
I've seen that. Number 2, you're not completely useless. You can always be used as a bad example. Remember how dark her stuff was last week if you came out to see? Yeah. Now they're clever. Now she's going with clever. She went with dark, and now we're doing clever. Rosemary's at the Albany event bonus, baby. Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm beyond thrilled. Everybody's telling Jeff he has to record it.
Oh, I'm going to. That's happening.
I'm going to make an ass of myself. This isn't going to be good. I'll probably be talking, but I don't even know what to say. All right. That's number 2. Yeah, but that event's going to be cool. There's a lot of, Rikishi's there. Scarlett is there. So, Camille is there. Mia Yim is there. Johnny Swinger from Impact is there.
Johnny freaking Swinger.
The Swing Man is there. It's going to be Trish Stratus is there. Mm-hmm. It's Britt Baker.
Yep.
Britt Baker is there. It's a really cool show. There's a lot of cool people there. Ivory, or no, it's not. I'm sorry, not Ivory. Jazz is there as well. So yeah, a lot of cool people at that show. Going to be excited. We're waiting for number 3. John NWO Cohen is very convinced.
Very, very convinced.
He's very convinced.
Very convinced.
Getting very excited there, John NWO. Are you really in the NWO? Or, do you love the NWO? The wrestling game's coming closer too. I'm excited about that too. WWE 2K. I saw the commercial for the general manager mode, which is cool. That's that even looks like it's going to be exciting to play. So I'm excited for that. I have to get the NWO edition. All right, number 3. Friend said, husband and I have reached a difficult decision that we do not want children. If anybody does, please just send me your contact details and we can drop them off tomorrow. Now we're getting a little darker. We're sliding down. We started with the clever. Now we're going into a little tailspin now. Okay. All we need is a Kiss Demon to be there, and between Rosemary and him, Joe would be floating like Quick Draw McGraw's dog after a treat. John NWO, Sting is there. Sting is where?
In other
All right.
news,
Yes. Let's move on, shall we? Number 4. How many emo kids does it take to screw in a light bulb? None. They all sit in the dark and cry. I heard this week 2K will reveal the entire roster for 2K22. We may have some who got released in the game, including Fiend. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen early releases of the roster. I've seen a whole bunch of them. It's certainly possible they could have him in there, but I don't know. I haven't seen him at all. And, I don't know if you guys know or if you guys checked this lately, but there is no more Fiend merch. And C Wrestling filled me in. That's been a while. There's no more Fiend merch at all on the shop, on WWE shop. It's gone. So I don't know. Number 5. I have a step ladder because my real ladder left when I was 5. Nice. Number 5 may have been the best so far. That was a good.
that's
one.
good. That's good.
Yeah, we know Sting's in AEW, dude. we've
Made it
known that.
snow.
We've known
He
that
made
for
it
a good.
snow.
Yeah, Sting. Whenever Sting comes out, it's snowing. So yeah, we know. We get it. Good night, Mark. I'm heading off to bed. I just want to thank you all. Nah, no problem. Anytime, Mark. I'm glad you come out and join us. Number 6. My parents raised me as an only child, which really ticked off my sister. Nice. Shaved ice, says Conrad. Oh, gosh. Craziness. We got one more joke from Jesse. And then we're going to let everybody get out of here. Yeah, remember to vote in the polls. Remember to vote in the polls, especially if you want us to do it. Because, like I said, we got to get some votes in there. So remember to vote in the poll. Here's number 7. My grandfather said, my generation relies too much on the latest technology. So I unplugged this life support. Wow.
That's dark.
That was really dark. Yeah. That was really dark. Wow.
That deserves this.
That was really dark. Oh, hey, Bruce. Wow. Oh, my gosh. Well, there you go. We got the darkest for the last. Very good, Jesse. Very good. Oh, man. Thanks to Jesse for coming out. Jesse's going to have a baby. And thanks for coming out and doing that and sending everybody home with a laugh tonight. So, all right, guys, it's late. We're getting on the 11 o'clock hour, and we are going to get out of here. Jeff has work in the morning. I've got some things I've got to do tomorrow. Make sure you come back and join Jeff and Jody tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jeff will be right back there with her. Again, make sure you vote on the poll that I put up if you want us to do a watch along. If you're interested in that for Revolution, there's the Abby's thing, and you see the graphic there. If you want us to do it, make sure you go and vote on the polls, because that is going to make a difference in whether we do it or not. See you, Derek. Enjoy the wrestling, dude. Enjoy your time in AEW, man. Have a great time down there. Yeah, so make sure you go do that. Otherwise, make sure you come back tomorrow for Abby's, and then I will see you all with Jeff on Thursday for Impact's Go Home show for Sacrifice. So have a great rest of your night. Stay safe. Be kind to one another, for goodness sakes. And hopefully we will see you all again on our next show. Have a great night, guys. Talk to you soon.